where Miguna is surrounded by officers. Heavy contingent of officers. Maybe here one of the officers, told that they have used.
I want to tell you, ndugu yangu.
Yes.
There is an officer here who I am trying to identify. Where's the camera? There is an officer I am trying to identify.
Right.
Who had the audacity to hit me on the head.
Yes.
And they are refusing me to identify that officer, who I want charged with criminal charges.
Right.
Okay? They are refusing me to point him out.
Yes.
And I'm saying I want to report a crime.
Yes.
Of somebody who has not only hit me but hit several other people here.
Right.
And they are refusing me to identify that individual.
Did you have a clear glimpse of him?
Yes. Yes. A very clear glimpse of him. A GSU officer.
Apart from yourself, because we did witness you and we captured you on camera being shoved around, who else perhaps did you notice that?
There were several people, including I think one cameraman from the news.
Right.
I think he was from KTN.
Right.
Who got beaten very badly here by the same similar GSU officers.
It was one officer.
It was one officer who was rampage.
I am somebody who has a metal implant in both legs, and I was saved by the wall. The one officer was as rough as the word rough itself.
Right.
Yes, and he hit the cameraman, and he hit this man.
Right.
Yes.
And perhaps we had your conversation when you wanted to know who has the key. One of the answers we have had was that the officer with the key is not here.
Yes.
I mean, is this continuation of perhaps what you've experienced?
What we've understood is that from my good friends inside, is that they are now being held in custody.
Right.
All of them.
All of them?
Who is
include
in custody?
Everybody that is there with Miguna.
Yes.
That is all the lawyers, led by James Orengo and Haminwa. And they are now seemingly coming out.
Okay. Maybe we could. Okay, madam, maybe you can tell us
please, you cannot move.
Why we are not allowed to go beyond here. It's the instruction from who?
No, why are we going the other way around? We are coming out.
Just to go to the other side.
Please,
just to go to the other side.
No, you know, you people, please. This is not a police state. We are not causing chaos. Have we got stones? We have nothing.
We are just telling you.
We have nothing. What's wrong with you?
Go to the other side.
We are not.
You just go and meet them. Who's there? Jimmy is there. And when
Okay. Well, we can just now see the NASA coalition leader and the president, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, just coming out of this particular holding area. And maybe we just want to cut a quick glimpse and a word from him.
What's happening here? Would you please say something, sir?
Yeah, okay.
No?
Where's the vehicle?
Would you please say something?
Yes, they're taking him.
Has he been taken out of the country again as they threatened to do so? They had threatened to take him out of the country to Dubai. Have they done so? All right. You don't know. All right. Honorable Raila Odinga, who has been here for slightly over an hour, exiting.
Well, you can see pictures of His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga just going into his car there. And it is not clear what has transpired here. We do hope that we could get a comment from the Senate Minority Leader, James Aggrey Orengo. Well, there goes the vehicle of the People's President, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, and
all right, thank you. There we go. Please come.
So Senator James Aggrey Orengo just addressing journalists here.
All right, so talk to us about what transpired.
We have had a long standoff. You know me, I came a little later, but Senior Counsel Dr. John Hamina has been here since the touchdown when the plane flew in from Dubai. As you know, the only reason why Miguna traveled back was in compliance with the court order, which had directed that he should come back to the country in accordance with the orders of the court. And the Kenya National Commission for Human Rights, which is a constitutional body, was mandated by the court to oversee Miguna's entry back to the country. And the court had directed that the government departments, the relevant government authority, should give Miguna a safe passage into the country. Now, when he arrived, there was a demand for his Canadian passport, but he had traveled with his Kenyan identity card, as you know. When he left here, he left on the basis, when he left, his Kenyan passport had been taken away and perforated when he was abducted. Now, the Kenyan authorities, what they should have done was to validate that passport which they had taken away from him and allow him back into the country in accordance with the court order. There are a lot of situations where people are given travel documents, and me, in my experience, I've had an experience of getting a travel document even in Amsterdam when I was a student leader. So the excuses that the Kenya government is giving is totally without a legal foundation. And all they were doing is to pretend that they were complying with the court order. But I could see what happened to Jimmy Wanjigi when he presented his passport when we were going to Zimbabwe. And the first thing the authorities did was to take away that passport. Now it is clear, because initially I thought that if that passport was available, Miguna should have given it out. But the fact of the matter, he didn't have the passport. But I can now see that had he surrendered that passport, it would have been taken away. Police officers, intelligence officers were addressed as if they are employees of the Emirates Airlines. They came and introduced themselves that they had instructions to take him back to the aircraft, and we refused. We held sway, but towards the tail end, the build-up of security was, alarming. And I think they would have done what they have just done now, hours ago, before the arrival of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, because when he arrived, then we had another standoff. But the fact of the matter that a thing like this can happen in an international, Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto should be ashamed of themselves to allow such illegal orders to be carried out by armed police officers in an international airport. And this will not be the end of the matter. But the way Miguna has been whisked away
right
now by policemen, GSU, there was a big contingent of GSU in uniform. And then there's what we are beginning to see, policemen in civilian clothing. But who, for all intents and purposes, if you are told as a police officer, you would not accept, you would not see that is an officer of the law. And actually the people who dragged the Miguna away were not the uniformed GSU officers, but these plainclothes gang of about 40 or so officers. But the total security, officers who had been brought to the airport at the time that Raila Amolo Odinga arrived, I think they could have been easily 400 police officers, just to take care of one person called Miguna. And I think this is a shame, this is a disaster, this is not what Kenya should be. And I hope Kenyans will continue to resist this. Yeah, I want John to say something.
Where are they taking Miguna?
They took him to Dubai?
He is on an Emirates flight. I think that's why they're pushing him to.
He's undocumented.
Yeah. They delayed that flight, and the reasons they're giving is like my learned friend, Mr. Mbeta is saying, Cliff Mbeta is saying, that he was undocumented. But he cannot be undocumented because the documentation for his arrival was there, which was the court orders which he brought with us, showing that he should be given passage through the airport. And the Kenyan National Commission for Human Rights also was there to make sure that the court order was complied with.
So what now next?
What next is what we do best, to pursue this in the courts. But also, I think Kenya should express national outrage. I think this pretends that we have a legitimate government, which is...
Oh my goodness.
Don't run. Senator.
Kuna mtu anakucheka ndugu. Weenda, heshimu, kuna kitu inaitwa heshima. Toka hapa.
Unaona mheshimiwa mwenyewe yeye amepanda gari nini?
Gari yangu ndio ile.
Well, there you go. That brings to the end our coverage of this Miguna drama here today, as the large contingent of police officers are just literally chased away everybody here. Reporting for NASA TV from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Terminal 1E, I am Maurice Ochieng.